Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I'll have on guests from Troup County government, and also I will have on someone from Keep Troup Beautiful. But before we get started with the interviews, let me just remind you once again about the Coats for Kids drive that is taking place through the Kiwanis Club. Here are some of the drop-off locations that you can drop off a used coat. Charter Bank, Idea Cleaners, Tech Tire, Collision Autocraft, West Georgia Hospice or the Hospital, Rosemont Church, LaGrange Banking Company, LaGrange Barbershop, Town Fitness Center, Advent Lutheran Church, Cam and Steel, which is on New Hutchinson Mill Road, and also down at City Hall. So don't forget to drop off an unused coat down at those locations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned as we start the interviews in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have on the chairman for the Troup County, Ricky Wolf. Ricky, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. You know, it's a pleasure, Ricky, to sit down with you. And I know that, just wanted to say the relationships between the city and the county have really have grown, and I've seen the Troup County has grown under leadership, and you're in your finishing up your first year on your second term, right?
That's correct.
What has it been like for you this far?
It's been a great experience. I think as we finish this year, it's a good time to reflect back on what happened good and what didn't happen so good.
Right.
And you kind of do a self-analysis of things you want to hopefully improve on next year.
That's correct.
And I really believe that even with the economic challenges that we face and this country faces and the world faces, I still think that Troup County, Georgia in total is doing quite well. And I'm very pleased of where we are.
Very good. You know, there's a lot of things that's happening. You know, we were talking before we came on, and we'll give you an opportunity to speak to some of those things here a little bit later on. But before we do that, I know there's some things that you want to talk about, particularly to Troup County, LaGrange, West Point, Hogansville. Just a couple of things. One of the things that just happened here recently is the passing of the SPLOST. Talk about that and what that means for the Troup County area.
Alton, that vote was very, very close. And I expected it to be close primarily because times are just very difficult. And we're in the fourth year of the greatest recession/depression that this country has faced since the 30s. And so I know that the word tax has never been a good word, but it's become a bad word to a lot of people in the last several years, and I fully understand that. Particularly with the number of people we got that are either unemployed or underemployed or working two jobs to just barely hang on. Mm-hmm. It was a very difficult time to ask for that extension of that sales tax. The issue with that sales tax is that if a community loses its infrastructure, if we lose our roads and bridges and water and sewer and library and sidewalks, and if we lose that, mm-hmm. then we lose our competitiveness for the future.
That's right.
And it was critical to us that even in these bad times, that we just maintain where we were. So the request to the voter was not an increase in sales tax. Would you just allow us to stay where we currently are? And it passed. And so what it does for us for the next 7 years, we have a plan, county, City of LaGrange, West Point, and Hogansville, we have a plan to keep our infrastructure competitive. Mm-hmm. And a lot of communities don't have that. Yes. And we think that that's going to pay big, big dividends for us in the future. So I'm awful thankful to the citizens of Troup County who voted for that. The ones that didn't vote for that, we got 7 years to show you that we will be a good steward of your money and that we will make those investments wisely, and that every citizen of Troup County will benefit. So very excited about that passing.
So, you know, Rick, and it's so important, you know, when you talk about infrastructure, because I know, you know, from the City of LaGrange standpoint, that has been one of the things, or carrots, if you want to call it that a lot of the developers that had come to the City of LaGrange and Troup County felt was important, that we had capacity in the infrastructure, we had infrastructure ready, you know, locations and things of that nature. So, you know, that's half of the battle when you're talking about doing a major development.
When you have an industrial client or a retail client or a developer that wants to do residential, and you know this very, very well, there's a checklist of questions that they all seem to ask. And one of those first questions is, talk to me about your infrastructure.
That's right.
And they want to know two things about it. They want to know the quality of the infrastructure, and they want to know how is that infrastructure financed. Which means that if they go into a community where a city or their county, if their finances don't look good, then they're hesitant to move there.
That's right.
Because they're getting ready to make a big financial decision, and they want to bet on the best horse.
That's right.
And so without that, if you can't answer the question about infrastructure, you normally never get to the second question.
That's right.
And you know that.
That's right.
From your work. You know
Absolutely.
that very, very well. So we had to protect the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
We had to do it.
And talking about infrastructure, I think these go hand in hand, Ricky. The South Loop, this project is on schedule to be completed.
Yes.
Talk about that for us and what that will mean for us as well.
Well, basically what that South Loop does, it does two very important things. It continues us building a gateway around the city as far as our perimeter idea is concerned. As importantly, what it does, it opens up and is a part of what we refer to as the Callaway South industrial area. Currently, Saywan is the first company that has gone into that area. Saywan now is employing 800-900 people, not sure the number, and has become a very good community citizen to us. Mm-hmm. If you hadn't driven through that area, it is a beautiful tract of land and a beautiful road. And it is very close to Kia to the south, and it's very close to our airport. It's very close to Lucan Industrial. It's very close to our current industrial base on that side. And so we're confident that over some period of time that a lot of industries, either in support of automotive or non-automotive, are going to find that to be a very competitive place to be. And we couldn't do it without the transit system.
That's right.
It was funded by the Recovery Act, and it was funded with some state funding and some local funding. The dedication of that's going to be on December the 19th, and that road is named for Chips Moman, who's one of LaGrange's greatest music artists that's ever come out of these parts.
Okay.
And we're honored to be able to name that road after him on that particular day.
Oh, very good.
So going back to Splosh again, the county's contribution to the project came from Splosh funding. So it didn't require taxpayer increase, millage rate increase, everything was able to stay the same, and we used that sales tax revenue to fund our portion of that project. So that's another way that Splosh funding is a part of economic development.
Absolutely.
So very proud of that.
Very beneficial part too to the city, county, and all those that will be utilizing that area. Now let's talk a little bit, Ricky, because all these kind of play hand in hand. Dash for LaGrange, which you founded some years ago, mm-hmm. had partnered with Gateways out of Florence, Alabama, and there's a development that's taking place on the corner of Raglan Street and Colquitt Street, and I'm sure the residents have perhaps driven by there, seen mm-hmm. it in the paper. Talk about that, Ricky, and what that will mean to our community as well.
Okay. Dash is in its 7th year, just finishing, I'm sorry, we're in our 8th year, just finishing. Okay. And we've just gone over $50 million of investment. And we have done 4 projects with that company, the Gateway Corporation. The funding mechanism for that are called low-income tax credits. And these credits are issued by the federal government. Companies buy them. It gives them a reduction in their corporate profit tax. It gives them a source of funding to communities to improve their housing. So this is our 4th project with them. The project on the corner of Colquitt and Raglan Street we're very, very proud of. It's an $8 million investment. 50 units of housing, individual units of housing with 1-car detached garages on mm-hmm. every home, sidewalks laid out for people to be able to get outside and exercise and move by walking. It is designed for people 55 and older with children that are handicapped, but other than that, it's just a senior development. Okay. And it is rental. And the rents will be based on an individual's income, starting with 30% of average median income, going up to 100% of average median income. It's a great location. It is. If you look at that intersection now, it's between the bypass on one side and Lafayette Parkway on the other side. The senior center is right up the street. and I'm going to work with my friends at the city and hope we can get some sidewalks from that development to the senior center so those folks will have an opportunity to walk to the senior center. So it's a great, great location.
Very good.
And we're very, very pleased to do it. I think it's probably, if not the largest, it's one of the largest single investments that's ever happened in that part of our community. And it was desperately needed.
Absolutely.
And I'm confident that it's going to be full within 3 months after because I get calls, we
I do
get
too.
calls now all the time
Yeah.
about when are you going to start taking applications for it.
Right.
And so I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, very.
Dash has been obviously hurt like everybody in housing for the last 3 or 4 years, but we're still alive and kicking and doing quite well. And those tax credit projects have been a godsend for the organization, but I think they've also been a godsend for the community.
Absolutely.
Because we're providing a lot of good housing.
Absolutely.
So.
Couldn't agree more, Ricky.
Yeah.
Now, as we get ready to finish up, I know there was a meeting that we had down at Delavon a month or so ago. I think it was in Moving the Mountain. Speak to that, Ricky, and then the last few moments I want to give you opportunity just to kind of wish the viewing audience Merry Christmas or however you want to be led, okay?
We have some serious issues in Troup County. We have issues with general state of the economy. You know, our permits for new housing are very, very low. Sales tax revenue's flat. The housing market is not showing great signs of recovery. The small business people I talk to still are pretty flat with where they were. And what has happened as a result of that, Alton, is more and more people have moved into poverty. And we now in Troup County have about 30% of our residents that live in poverty. So in effect, every third person that you run into, on average, is living in a state of poverty. And it is something this community has got to try to address. There is a national movement called Move the Mountain. And the meeting you referred to at Delavon a month or so ago was with the founder of that organization. And we are studying that program. And we'll make a decision probably sometime in January, February about is that program appropriate for us. I think what is not appropriate for us is to do nothing. Because these people, they can't participate at KIA, they can't participate with the general progressiveness of the community. The social costs of poverty are very expensive. The jails are full, the food closets can't keep up, and we can't just keep building more food closets and clothes closets. We got to somehow lift people back to being responsible individuals.
That's right.
That's the whole idea behind this program, and it has had significant national success. And we're studying it intently, and we're trying to ask, everybody who went to the meeting was asked to give us their honest, brutally honest assessment. Does this look like something we should do? But the answer can't be we do nothing.
That's right.
Because every year we're going up. The percentage of the people in Troup County every year that live in poverty is going up. We have 5,000 children in Troup County that are now living in poverty. So they are behind in their life from the very beginning.
That's right.
And the odds of them catching up is woefully low to their peers. So we're too good of a community. We got too many other good things that are going on here. Right. To allow that to continue. That's so right. Real excited about that program, and maybe next year we can talk in more detail about the specifics of it.
Look forward to doing that. Ricky, close out with any well wishes that you'd like to wish our viewing audience. Have about a minute.
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I'd like to thank everybody for their support of their governments. I know that we don't always do exactly what you would want us to do, and we certainly from time to time make our share of mistakes. We're human beings, but I think that every elected official here, their heart's in the right place. I read in the paper a few days ago, and you might have seen it, Jefferson County, Alabama, which is the county home of Birmingham, Alabama, just declared bankruptcy. It's the largest municipal bankruptcy in the history of the United States of America. Thank God we're not in Jefferson County, we're in Troup County. Right. We're solid financially. The working relationships between our governments is very, very good. The working relationships between all of our institutions, LaGrange College, Callaway Foundation, education, commerce, economic development, all those relationships are very, very good. And I think that doesn't do anything but bode well for the future of Troup County.
Absolutely.
So thank you for having me.
Ricky, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to sit down with you, and definitely want to take you up on that, coming back and talking about Move the Mountain, because I was there, and I think of some things that we can take away from that and implement here in our community as well.
I think so as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Ricky.
Thank you. Good to see you always.
Always a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have on the chairman of Keep Troup Beautiful, Bob Wiggins. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Well, again, it's a pleasure to sit down with you and talk about some of the things that's going on. I know that I've had Doris come on in the past, the director there at Keep Troup Beautiful, but I know there's a number of things that have happened and that is going on in Troup County. So before we talk about the main thing that we want to talk about, let's talk about some of the things that have taken place here.
Oh my goodness, this has really been an active year for us. We run July through June, and of course we started out with the Hummingbird Festival up in Hogansville, which is kind of an educational activity, passing out and talking about recycling and beautification and litter prevention and whatever. American Recycles Day was just about 3 weeks ago. We ran an event here in town with Habitat, collected around 1,800 pounds of electronics, and what have you, which was good. And of course, we just had the Christmas parade and did a lot of talking and education and whatever, as well as trying to keep warm.
That's right. That's right.
And of course, we're getting ready to get into what we're going to talk about today, which is bring one for the chipper.
Okay, all right. Now, I want to go back, and we talked about the electronics, Bob. You guys collected about 1,800 pounds of electronics. A lot of times, you know, people, you know, if your monitor goes out or your keyboard or whatever, they just kind of trash it. But they could, at this particular time, they could bring those and take them down or to a location and donate them. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, you can bring them. Of course, Habitat, their restore will accept working electronics anytime, TV sets and what have you. And the recycling center out on Davis Road, of course, will accept electronics. Then any of the events that we have during the year, of course, we collect electronics also.
Okay, all right. And it's so important, you know, because you know, saying one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, there's something that perhaps can be done with it, you know, maybe for parts or someone that likes the handy person, just like to fix on it. Probably not a lot.
Sure, you know, reduce, reuse, and recycle.
That's
you
right.
know, and with Christmas coming up and all of our New Year resolutions and whatever, it's a good time to get in there and clean up some of this old stuff we've had in closets and whatever. And you know, each year, particularly with computers, it seems like we have to upgrade them almost every year to keep on keeping on top of everything.
That's
and
right.
of course, we love to get this the computer parts and whatever where we can recycle them and keep them out of the landfill.
That's right. That's right.
And but to get into what we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready to have Keep One for the Chipper, which kicks off the day after Christmas at the Home Depot parking lot. And this is about the 7th or 8th year that Keep Troup Beautiful has been involved in this, but this is a Keep Georgia Beautiful project and Keep America Beautiful project. Now we have combined it and made it a little bit more than just chipping Christmas trees. We have also made it a collection point for electronics and what have you that you might want to bring.
Okay.
And just to give you an example, last year, counting what was chipped up and as well as what was donated to Habitat, we handled about 350 Christmas trees and collected about 8,500 pounds of electronics, which made for a pretty successful event. Anytime we collect something and handle it right means less chance that it would be handled wrong and disposed of improperly.
That's right. That's right. So we have Bring One to the Chipper that starts December the 26th out at Home Depot, and it'll run through, I guess, the beginning of the year, Bob?
What it will do, it will run through 2 o'clock on New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we will actually have a Home Depot area manned on New Year's Eve from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, prior to that, we can only take Christmas trees. You can take them down and leave them in the Home Depot parking lot. You'll see where they are putting them and whatever. But only on Christmas Eve will we be there to help you unload and take care of your electronics.
Okay.
But if you bring those down there, we'll handle those for you. We'll chip your Christmas trees, and we'll even give you a packet of garden seeds or something. Okay.
I was about to ask, we're going to get a little seedling this year.
This year we decided instead of handing out seedlings, we were going to hand out garden seed or a vegetable or flower garden seeds.
Okay, well, very good. And you know, it's a way to keep the trees out of the landfill.
Absolutely.
And it goes for a good cause because you can get mulch from them.
Yeah.
And can use that in your garden as well when you plant
That's
your garden
right.
vegetables.
Absolutely. Keep it and put it on top of your garden after you plant it.
That's right.
Yeah, or even mulch it into your garden before you plant it.
There you go. Absolutely. And these are trees can be accepted from Troup County, surrounding area, or they're just specifically, or how
You bring them in. You bring them in. We'll take care of them.
Okay. All right.
Let me just put it that
there
way.
There you
okay?
go. All right. That's great to know. And it's bring one to the chipper. And I know this is, I don't know exactly the number of years that this has been going on, but quite some time now, right?
Well, I'm not sure exactly when Keep America Beautiful started it, but our affiliate here in Troup County has been doing it for 7 years.
Okay.
You know, it's been very successful for us. And like I say, somewhere along the line, about 3 or 4 years ago, we combined the electronics recycling in there with it because it's a natural time to do it, right? With Christmas and whatever, everybody's upgrading their various electronic appliances and apparatus and computers and whatever, and it's a natural time to do it. So it's always worked out real well for us.
That's right. And you know, in that same vein, I guess we want the viewing audience to also keep in mind that not only are we taking the trees and the electronic, but we also take all the other recyclables throughout the year, and they can drop them off at the recycle center. Talk about that.
That's exactly right. Let me say one other thing now. Not only are we doing this here in LaGrange, but this is being done also in Hogansville and West Point. In Hogansville, you can take it down to the maintenance shop on, I believe it's Lincoln Street. And West Point, you can take it down to the recycling center in West Point. Okay,
very good. So drop off points in those cities as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
And then we're talking about recycle. You know, because Bob, I know that the viewing audience have heard you come on and talk about the lifehood of an aluminum can. What, 30 days it's back on the shelf, being reused again. So.
Well, you know, we haven't had our aluminum can recycling program yet this year because we're going to have it in the second half of the year. But LaGrange has been probably the running city in the nation, not in Troup County and not in Georgia, but in the nation. You know, we have always placed first, second, or third or so in the nation in collecting aluminum cans. Here locally, we are approaching 750,000 aluminum cans collected each year.
That's right.
And this is important because aluminum cans are about 70% recycled. So when we drink a Coke, got a 70% chance that you're using some recycled aluminum.
That's right.
The life of that, the turnaround time on an aluminum can, and you and I have talked about that before, it's really staggering. You know, you drink out of it today, throw it in the recycle bin, and in 30 days you can pick it up out here at Kroger or Publix or Piggly Wiggly or Kmart or Walmart again and drink out of it again.
That's right.
And the thing also is that infinitely recyclable. You throw that aluminum can in the recycle bin and your grandchildren can be drinking out of the same aluminum when they are running around. And their grandchildren because it's infinitely recyclable.
That's right.
It never goes away, other than a little bit of waste along the way, but the basic product is infinitely recyclable.
That's right. And we have to be good stewards of the resources that we've been entrusted with, whether it be aluminum, whether it be glass, or whatever minerals or things that we've been entrusted with. We definitely have to be good stewards of them so they can be around for your grandchildren, my grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren.
I think what we got is all we're going to get, Alton. So we got to make the best.
That's right. We got to make the best of it.
That's
right.
It, you know.
All right. Well, as we get ready to close up again, let's bring one to the chipper that will be taking place starting on December the 26th at Home Depot, and you guys will be there on the 26th only.
On the 31st.
31st. Okay.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Okay. for the chippers and also for the electronics.
And for the electronics. We
Okay.
want to be there to make sure the electronics are handled properly. We don't
Okay.
want them scattered all over the Home Depot
That's right,
parking lot and
definitely right.
everything, you
That'd
know.
be good stewards of property we've been
That's
donating
right,
to you
that's
too, right?
Home
Absolutely.
Depot has been very gracious letting us use their facilities and whatever, and you know, we want to make sure we use them properly.
That's
So,
right. Well, Bob, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this information with us, and I'm sure that we will exceed that 350 trees this year.
Oh, I hope so.
Again, and everybody can get some vegetable seeds to plant in the
There
garden
you
next
go,
year.
absolutely,
All
yeah.
right.
It's win-win.
There you go. Bob, thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you, Alton.
All right.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me for City Week this week. My guests have been Troup County Chairman Ricky Wolf, as he talked to us about some of the events that are taking place around Troup County, particularly the Splosh and also the South Loop. And he also talked about some upcoming events. I hope that you will stay tuned for those and listen in once again. Also, I had on from Keep Troup Beautiful, Bob Wiggin, as he talked to us about Bring One to the Chipper that will be taking place starting December the 26th through January the 1st out at Home Depot. So by all means, ladies and gentlemen, bring out your Christmas tree and also your electronics and drop them off during that time. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews. And as always, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy and a prosperous New Year. And I want to invite you all back for more of City Week.